Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another tactical review live stream. I'm glad you're joining me this evening. I've got to be honest, I feel like a frayed rope right now. It's just been one of those weeks. It is hump day, at least. So, exciting news tonight. As you can see from the title, we have... Okay, I'm cheating it just a little bit, but we are opening up entries for the 250 subscriber giveaway. I've been talking about this off and on since last June, I think. So you can get registered for the giveaway by either clicking the link in the description or going to bit.ly/TR250GAW. That's going to take you to a Google form. I need your first and last name. I'm going to need your email address, and then you just have to simply accept the official rules of the giveaway. That's a thing. Did you guys know that it's a real big pain in the butt legally to actually run a giveaway? I didn't. I just wanted to give you guys stuff. Now you know. We've got it taken care of, I think. And yeah, so here in 2 weeks from tonight, I will be announcing the winners. And so what we have up for grabs by random drawing, we have two Olight i3E EOS keychain flashlights. Olight, not a sponsor of the channel or the giveaway. I've purchased these with my own funds. Have one, not this one, this is mine, but we do have one Olight i3T EOS. This came right off of my belt. I carry this every day. I am lost when I don't have that. Love that light. And you guys can go back if you didn't watch the EDC flashlight videos. Those are both in that. And finally, we have our Four Brothers Boogaloo dump tray. I don't have a Four Brothers dump tray. I want to keep this, but I will not. I promise I will not even use it unless I, put things in it for Instagram photos, so more people know about the giveaway. But I do have a pocket stuff tray that my children made for me, and so it's very special. But I will be sending this to one lucky viewer here in 2 weeks. The sweepstakes opened just a few minutes ago, and it will remain open until Tuesday, March 17th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, or thereabouts. I'm using an automatic thing that's supposed to shut off access so that folks aren't able to register late. If you attempt to register before 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday the 17th and it does not accept your entry, please email me immediately, tacticalreview@protonmail.com. I'll be able to tell by the timestamp on that email that you did legitimately register at the appropriate time, and we will get you in that. Yeah, those official rules protect you guys like they protect me. So anyway, and then 2 weeks from tonight on the live stream, I will use random.org, and we will choose pseudo random numbers for you computer geeks out there, and we will be giving these flashlights and this dump tray away. I'm simply going to generate random numbers within the bounds of how many entries we have, and whomever's name is on the row number in the spreadsheet that corresponds with that number, you are a winner. So, and just so everybody knows, the order I will draw for both of the i3Es, and then I will draw for the i3T, and then I will draw for the dump tray. So Ninja, how you doing tonight, brother? Thanks for joining us. You know, right here, I can just reach right here and pick up that last recommendation you made for me. Really do like this. Really hope that it does as well as I suspect it will in the testing, and then I'm gonna put it on a battle belt. All right. I was really, you know, hey, I announced the giveaway. We can close it down now, right? That's what I was excited about. No, we're not closing down the live stream yet. I also, if you guys are not following on Instagram, let me get my head out of the way. I do have some new t-shirt designs up. You can go to bit.ly/TR-merch and check out the new t-shirts. I want to thank the Poor Conservative. I haven't seen him yet in the chat, but he actually contacted me on Instagram and gave me that eagle design that's on the Tactical Review American Pride t-shirt, and it also adorns all of my newest designs on the left sleeve. I will be updating the one of my older designs. I'm using Teespring. They're a print-on-demand company, so actually recommended to me by a few other channel supporters, a few other creators who use them as well. They're not the easiest to use for getting sleeve print stuff, but I really like, you know, most of my Pro 2A shirts at least have a flag on the sleeve, and I really like that. So, yeah. Anyway, George Washington, welcome. There's something, in case you guys are on mobile, I know that mobile makes it difficult to switch back and forth between chat and the description. So there is the link to get registered for the giveaway. So I'll drop that in there. You guys can pull that up on another tab while we are talking here tonight. So very honestly, as much as I hate to have to confess to this, I have not had time in the last 7 days to really keep my ear to the rail the way I'd like to, or at least, let me rephrase that. I constantly, I've been blessed with a job that lets me just keep tabs open in my browser at work, and so when I have some dead time, I can click over and just scroll through Facebook real quick, click over on Discord and scroll through real quick. So I see a lot of headlines, and I don't always get them on the docket for my live streams, which is why I'm typically scatterbrained, because I'm just naturally scatterbrained. Big news obviously today, though. I'm sure everybody has seen by this point that Michael Bloomberg has officially pulled out of the Democratic primaries, has thrown his support behind good old crazy Uncle Joe, as well as Mr. O'Rourke throwing his endorsement behind Joe Biden. So, yeah, let me just read from the AmmoLand news article about this. Drop that in chat for you guys. Once again, well, I like giving you guys the opportunity to go check the articles yourself. But I'd like to read, let's see. O'Rourke appeared near the end of Biden's speech, announcing that he would vote for the former vice president during Tuesday's Democrat primary. In response, Biden told the audience, "I want to make something clear. I'm going to guarantee you this is not the last you're seeing of this guy. You're going to take care of the gun problem with me. You're going to be the one who leads this effort. I'm counting on you. I'm counting on you. We need you badly." So basically, if we can get good old Biden into the White House, it looks like that we're going to have a minister of gun confiscation there with good old Francis. I wonder if he's going to lead any of the stacks. You gotta doubt that. Yeah, George Washington, I too love Ammo Land. I don't even remember. I'm sure it started with a signing up for a sweepstakes. They got me on Ammo Land's mailing list, and I haven't regretted that one for a moment. Vanessa, hi, welcome. Vanessa, you've been a channel supporter for a long time. Certainly make sure you get over to the 250 sub giveaway and get your name down on the list. Hope a bus. You know, I hope that something, whatever karmic happens to Mr. Bloomberg, I certainly hope that it involves a large soda. Whatever karma might have in store. Yeah. Aunt Diesel, I'm glad you're here. You know, I said last week, or yeah, I think it was last week, that I hadn't had a chance to watch your follow-up videos with your situation involving a handgun in an agitated person's possession. I've still got to go back and watch that. I've only caught a couple of your videos, and yeah, I like what you're doing too. I'm glad you're here. And yeah, once again, if you didn't get here in time to see the announcement, I've got a link in chat, that first bit.ly link. You can go get registered for the giveaway. And yeah, really excited. Okay, one thing I forgot to say, it's in the rules. I know nobody reads the rules. By United States law, you do have to be 18 years of age or older, a legal U.S. resident, and you can't live in my house or be related to me. But nobody who lives in my house and very few people who are related to me watch the channel. So we don't have to worry too much about that one. Hey, Mark 18, I'm glad you're here. One last thing, I want to make it very clear. I would hope that the assumption would not be made. I am not going to sell your information. I will do my absolute level best to protect the information that I get. Going to be double checking that there's no easy way to get to you guys' information on that sheet. Obviously, I cannot promise what Google may or may not do. A Google form seemed like the easiest way to get this going for today. So this is only for me to choose winners. I will maintain those records only for whatever time the law says that I should maintain records of winners of a sweepstakes. And that's it, that's all. I'm not building a mailing list for this. I like Mr. Guns and Gear's weekly email blast, but I'm not set up to do that, and that's not what I'm planning to do. So there you go. There's the privacy spiel on that. Yeah, I want my privacy, and I want you to have your privacy. So there we go. Roll through here. Okay, yeah, good old Uncle Joe and his Hellfire missiles, right? I don't know. Hey, your AK-47 isn't going to do it. Man, I'll tell you what. I'm looking at 20 years. 20 years we've spent over in the sandboxes. And, yeah. There's a whole bunch of insurgents over there that did, you know, there's a lot of dead insurgents, don't get me wrong, but they've really given us a lot of trouble for just being a ragtag group of people with just AK-47s and the occasional, let's see, the occasional RPG, doing some IEDs. I mean, I don't know. Once again, for the YouTube guy who has been assigned to watch this stream because it's on a gun channel, I am not advocating violence. I am simply pointing out the asininity of that statement. That, yeah, okay, my viewers know what I'm saying. All right, and if you're the YouTube person who's watching this, stick around and hopefully we can help you, free your mind like Morpheus did for Neo. All right, I'm done with that one. Just a real quick update. I'm sure you guys saw this here yesterday, that the Supreme Court has denied to take up the case on the bump stock ban. I'm amazed that I haven't seen anything. No, I'm not. I'm sort of amazed. The Military Arms Channel hasn't put anything out yet. I know that Tim can't say much because he's actually named in that suit, but I'm surprised that he didn't say anything at all on the channel about it. So, and as you guys all know, it doesn't matter. And there's the link coming in chat for you. Or a link. That's not by any stretch the only link. It's not so much whether or not a bump stock is a great tactical tool. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Regardless whether you had a bump stock on every gun or you think it's the stupidest thing that's ever been invented, it is an accessory. For a legally purchased accessory for a legally purchased firearm, it falls under the auspices of the Second Amendment, shall not be infringed. Furthermore, lots of violations under that because folks were required to surrender or destroy their legally purchased items without any kind of monetary recompense. Not that the government would have any right to offer monetary recompense by virtue of the fact that the government didn't sell them in the first place. So I, as a taxpayer, well, I'm angry as a Second Amendment advocate about the whole ban in the first place. And then as a taxpayer, especially a taxpayer who's pro 2A, would have been super mad about the government using my tax money to buy something just to destroy it when the government didn't sell it in the first place. Good grief. Months. The funny thing is, I made about the fallout of Civil War months ago. Okay, Ant Diesel. I'm gonna have to go back and check that out. Yeah, that's honestly, a lot of us get labeled. Okay, I have personally been labeled right-wing extremist. Gun nut, I consider that one a compliment. Anarchist, domestic terrorist, yeah, I've been called that here in the last 4 or 5 months. I think the vast majority of us would really prefer to solve this at the ballot box. And, I know I in no way speak for anybody except myself. But I think from the general gist I get is stand ready, would rather not if we can keep from it. And we just keep getting painted by the media as these insane people who just want war. And nothing, it's the same thing, we're painted as violent individuals when there's, what is it? 100 million, 400 million guns in the United States. I've lost track of what that count is, what that estimation is. And statistically, there's such a small number of violent crimes committed with firearms. It just drives me bananas. Yeah, Mark 18, I think I talked about that right before you came on. That, Biden was, I did say Minister of Confiscation. So, yeah. Yeah, Vanessa, the media is absolutely all about sensationalism. That's my biggest gripe. It's no... I'm hitting pause there. Because honestly, I'm all about capitalism. I'm all about, if you've got a good way that's not hurting people to make a dollar, make your dollar. But the problem is that we have moved from, details at 11 to a 24-hour news cycle thanks to the internet. Now, in some ways that's awesome, because if you want information at any time, you can go and get information. The downside is we've gone to a decentralized news platform, but we still need folks to report this news, which still costs money because people need to make a living. So now that we're online, advertising revenue is generated by clicks, by clicking the article or watching the video, unless you're a poor schmuck like me who isn't monetized and doesn't have sponsors. But the fact is, though, that these news outlets have to generate traffic in order to get money, and the way to do that is by generating sensationalism. But I know, like me personally, I am less likely to click a link if it's sensational. It drives me nuts. Maybe it's because I work with teenagers. Maybe it's because I have preteen and teenage children, and I just get tired of the drama. Tell me what I need to know, sure, but don't make coronavirus. All right? Yes, people are sick. Yes, people have died. Okay, unless you think it's all just a conspiracy, and that's fine. I mean, I'm willing to take at face value that there are sick people and some people have died. Symptomatically, it's much like SARS. Regardless, it's a viral infection. Really, the only thing you can do is wash your hands, and if you start feeling sick, stay home. All right, either your immune system's going to take care of it, or your immune system's not going to take care of it, but you don't need to be out infecting everybody else. But that goes for everything. I have flu-like symptoms. Let's go on a vacation. No. But the media would have you believe that Umbrella Corporation has created coronavirus and it's going to kill you and turn you into a violent zombie, and probably just for looking at the news article on the computer, you're already infected. I really am sick of sensationalism. Which brings us full circle back to Second Amendment and anti-Second Amendment arguments. Because so often the arguments that I hear against our natural-born Second Amendment right all start with some wild emotional plea. Well, think of the children. I'm thinking of the 4 with whom I've been entrusted. I'm thinking of the several hundred I interact with on a regular basis, and my willingness to stand in the gap and protect them. I am absolutely thinking of the children, but don't you come at me with some emotional, illogical plea with a complete unwillingness to engage logic and reason. No, I don't accept it. And hey, I'm going to risk just disenfranchising some huge portion of my potential viewership and say, all right, if we're going to think of the children, well, which children are we thinking of? Are we going to think of the thousands that are murdered every day in the name of choice? Oh, we only want to think of the children when it suits our needs. I gotcha. So think of the children, but only some children. Only the children that we can use to push our agenda. Don't think of all of the children, because we're going to not call them children. Alright, I've seen in my peripheral vision the chat's been scrolling while I've been on my soliloquy. So, Brastard's here. Hey Brastard, best part about the bump stocks, it was a way to start destroying the NFA and Hughes. Yes, I'm thankful that we do at least still have binary triggers. Theoretically, those, well, they will define what they want and how they want, and we all know that. If you would like to, hang on, quick plug, if you would like to have a way to make a statement about the asininity of some of these common sense gun control laws, you feel free to jump over and check out the Repeal the NFA DIY shirt there on the left on our merchandise store. Just, you know, get some folks' creative juices thinking. Hashtag repeal the NFA. But binary triggers, they function, as most of you are aware, 1 round expended per action of the trigger. So you pull the trigger, that's 1 action, you get 1 round. You release the trigger when it's in echo or binary mode. That release is 1 action, fires 1 round. Once again, the ATF is going to ATF. Infringers are going to infringe. I'm sure that they will eventually take exception to binary triggers. I personally think the binary trigger is a better option if we're going to think tactically, if we're going to think functionally, than what the bump stock was. But that's just me, and I never played with the bump stock. I purchased my AR after the bump stock ban was enacted, and I've confessed several times that I was not super ear to the rail, mostly because we're back to all of these emotional pleas and illogical arguments. They make me angry, and I don't suffer fools lightly, not even when the fool is the guy in the mirror. Anyway, wording of the bump stock. Vanessa, I'm going to disagree slightly and say that it was the enactment of the bump stock ban. The complete end run around Congress. Yeah, the wording is terrible, but it's everything about it. We're going to issue this by executive fiat without going through the ATF technology department, who are the ones who are supposed to be defining this. We're going to require confiscation or destruction of lawfully purchased products with no grandfather clause. Just the gamut was wrong with the bump stock ban. And Diesel, thank you for updating me on that count, 400,000,001. And I have my eyes on several things. Working on getting my direct deposit switched to Palmetto State Armory, because there's a lot of PSA stuff that is supposed to come out this year. I've got my fingers crossed there, because the dagger was supposed to come out this month, and the last I saw it had been pushed to like late April through early June now. So fingers still crossed though. There's 4 or 5 things that PSA either has or is launching that I really want this year. So I intend to do my part to add up those numbers of legally owned firearms in private citizens' hands. Let's see. It's infringement. Last time it happened across Delaware. Well, hey, and George, I've got your picture right here. Let's see if hang on, I'm clicking around here. Telling us that we have your permission. We have your blessing to Boogaloo. I like this picture of you. Maybe you will be the one who has this show up in your mailbox here in 2 weeks. Guys, I'm gonna keep dropping that because I'm really excited. number one, I'm excited that 250 of you, okay, I've cheated a little. Last time I checked, it was at 2:48 today. But the law says I have to have a specific start date and a specific end date, and the easiest way was for me to say I'm just going to announce it today. But 250 of you crazy beautiful people think that I am worth paying attention to, and so that kind of excites me. Watch out for pneumonia. Yeah, and that's the thing. Pneumonia is an annual major killer, usually in conjunction with other things. My youngest daughter, she got pneumonia here 5 years ago, I think. 6 years, I don't remember. She was a little girl, and she was all congested on a Friday. Sunday morning, she looked green and she really struggling to breathe. We took her to our local doc in the box, and they took one look at her and said, "No, you're going to the ER. We're not doing anything with this." A few x-rays later, and her butt's in a hospital bed for a week. It was crazy. Just 2 days. Sick and congested on Friday, in the hospital for a week on Sunday. Pneumonia legitimately frightens me. Randall Hill, welcome. I'm doing great, and it's been a couple minutes since you got here, so I'm sure everybody has, I'm sure everybody else has chimed in. Self-defense, it's no one else's right, but yes, we're all responsible for our own safety. I mean, you know, I'll accept outside help. You know, I'm. Again, call me a bootlicker. I'm not anti-law enforcement. If something's going down and there's a cop right here, hey, great, awesome. But if the nearest cop is a phone call away and who knows how many minutes of response time, no, that's on me. And I want to be prepared, and I do my best to be prepared. And I want you guys to be prepared. And if I can help you guys in any way get there, that's huge. The only thing in my life that I can think of that I would consider a higher honor is if I could tell you about how to have eternal security. And then that's kind of outside, okay, that's a lot outside the realm of this channel. If you'd ever want to talk about that, you can hit me up an email, you can DM me on social media. That's not what we're talking about here. So aside from that, if I can give you advice that helps you with a purchase or not make a purchase because it would have been a bad idea, reliability wise, and you're able to use that to save your life, then I'm sorry you were in the situation that you had to employ lethal force, but I'm so glad that I was able to help a little way with your preparedness. And pursuant to that, one of the most critical things I think we can all keep in mind is the fact that firearms proficiency is a super perishable skill. And it's important to make sure that you're getting that range time in, that you're finding a way to stress yourself safely and get that range time in, so that you know that you're able to perform with adrenaline dumping and an elevated heart rate. If you're able to take any kind of force-on-force training, even if it's just airsoft or paintball, it's not an exact analog, but it does help with that. You know, it's a matter of being prepared. Not because it's so likely, but because it's so important. Most guns are banned under Trump's bump stock ban. It totally destroys the Second Amendment. And the bump stock ban is nauseating. In conjunction with the recent brazenness of the ATF is what I want to say. Things like the FOSTEC origin, we've talked about that. There was FOSTEC and the origin SBV specifically. That's the one that they reclassified. And then the Franklin Arms Reformation Yeah, there's been so much happen, especially within the last, 12 to 18 months. I'm legitimately concerned for this November, because obviously we know that all of the Democratic candidates have absolutely declared war on the Second Amendment. The best we get is I'm pro 2A, but, which means you're not pro 2A, in case that wasn't obvious. There was a statement that Mike Bloomberg released yesterday. Yeah. Late Monday, I think, is what it was, before, and then he got the results of Super Tuesday and backed out today. But, and we're not going to deal with that right now because he's out of the race. Where was I going with that? Anti-gun politician. So we know what the left is bringing to November. What my concern is that Trump wins and then drops all pretense of pro 2A. I've made a lot of people angry in the last 3 years because I've pointed out that Trump is an old school New York Democrat. Do I think he's been amazing? No. Do I think he's done some good for the country? Yeah. Do I think that he's been as pro 2A as he claimed he would be? Absolutely not. But Donald Trump, from my observation, is a narcissist. And just like any narcissist, he wants to look as good as possible. He's going to tell you that it's perfection, but he wants to look as good as possible. And so he's going to do what he views as good for America because that coincides with making himself look good. Make sense? But if in his mind what is best for America is to just crap all over the Second Amendment, he's going to do it because in his mind it's going to make him look best. Enhanced rate of fire is the law here in Connecticut. How do you think that will be used here as well as at the federal level with that bump stock ban? Well, I'm waiting on them. And I'm going to be honest here. I'm 10 minutes behind in the chat because I keep ranting. I'm waiting on them to ban belt loops and fingers. Jerry Michalek is one name that comes to mind that he's faster than a bump stock, or ever so slightly slower. And he's accurate, like scary accurate. Are we going to outlaw Jerry Michalek? I think Lena's just about as fast. She's got to go too. Most 3-gunners, yeah. We're not going to be able to have lightning triggers. Nationwide, every trigger pull will have to be 14 pounds at minimum. It's asinine. It's just asinine. And Diesel, yes, the PSA 5 is one of those short lists. You guys, I've talked about this. PS9 Dagger. I want an AKV, and that's one that I should be able to grab. I probably want the M-Lock railed version, so basically the 9mm baby brother to my 7.62 AK. So finding that one in stock might be the only thing that catches me up. But they are selling that aluminum M-Lock handguard separate now, so I might be able to make that work. So Dagger, AKV, the new ARV, and I haven't seen anything about a release date on that, but that is the 9mm AR, or the AR9 lower, that has the AKV magwell, or the Scorpion magwell. That's going to give me magazine compatibility between those two guys, and those are a double stack, double feed magazine. polymer with metal feed lips. I like it. I would like a Jackal in a pistol configuration in 5.56, and so sadly the 300 blackout version of the Jackal is launching first, and I'm wanting a shorty 5.56 of some sort, and I like the idea of the recoil system, or the buffer system, being in the upper, similar to the BRN 180 or the AR 180. Pick your poison there. So there's those. I want a PSA 5. I want a PSAK 74. I'd like an AK 5.56. I'm at 7, and I think most of those are on the list for launching this year. And then, money being no object, I'd take an AKE and even a GF4, so then I can compare the FN chromline barrel to the Palmetto State chromline barrel. If money was no object, and that's just Palmetto State, that's not all the other manufacturers I want stuff from. Binary triggers are too complicated for DIMs to understand. They only understand non-binary triggers that identify as trigger activators. Mark 18, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. Everything that enhances rate of fire over a flintlock musket is banned, including having a second barrel on said musket. Yeah. You know what the thing is? A flintlock musket truly is a weapon of war. Second Amendment Preservation Act is going to pass here in Missouri. Awesome, Ninja. And I actually, one of the articles, one of these 8,000 tabs I have open that I kind of wanted to click through with you guys, is about some other state's Second Amendment preservation. So, or maybe it was a candidate's statements thereon from a surprising location. Zeke, you're here. Good morning. You're not that far away from me. Is, yeah. Jacuzzi tub. Made your back feel good. Zeke, I'm glad your back's feeling better, man. Poor Conservatives here. Once again, thank you, Poor Conservative, for the eagle that is on the... Get my head out of the way. Actually, get out from behind this. I messed up there. Let's try this again. Take 2. The eagle that's there on the Tactical Review American Pride tee that's on the right on your screen. Really appreciate that. Gave me the template to work from. I mean, that's the thing. I really love the support that I've gotten from the community. The kind comments. I've had a few people get a little angry with me that I'm just going to throw things around. You know, had some people get upset with me and not saying that the Olight was the absolute best tool for the job, in spite of the fact that I said I was going to put it on a firearm and actually do some of my own testing. Whatever. But no, the community overall has been fantastic, and so it is with absolute pleasure that I've worked up everything to get the giveaway going. So once again, if you are just joining us, there's a link in the description or up in the chat if you just want to scroll upward in the chat, or you can just go there manually, bit.ly/TR250GAW. That's the Tactical Review 250 subscriber giveaway. The entrance will be open for 2 weeks. We're closing that at 11:59 p.m. on 3/17, 11:59 p.m. Eastern on 3/17, and we will be doing the drawing 2 weeks from tonight live on the live stream. Also, if you haven't gone through the entry form yet, there's also a quick survey on there just asking about what nights works best for everybody for these live streams. I threw them on a Wednesday back in December because I happened to have a free Wednesday, and it worked out for Elias, who was joining me, and it just stuck. So it's been brought to my attention, though. I think it was Poor Conservative told me there's other channels who are streaming right now, and there's 7 days and who knows how many gun channels out there, so I know that I'm not going to get a free night regardless. I know that there's nights that wouldn't work as well for me, but I just want to see what you guys think. So you don't have to fill that in. That one's, you'll see it's not marked with a requirement to fill out, but if you would like to weigh in on the potential future of the channel as far as when we have or don't have live streams, you get an opportunity there to make your voice heard. What's going on over here in the chat? Lights are good, but they're overblown in the gun world. Live stream on St. Patrick's Day. Aren't like half my viewers going to be drunk? Oh, I see your point. I'm more palatable when you guys are drunk. That makes sense. Definitely prettier. The beer goggles might almost overcome the fact that I've got a face for radio. Anyway, lights are good, overblown in the gun world. And I don't know. I guess if I come out talking about the absolute greatness of light, you'll know that I've been bought and paid for. And I valued money over integrity. I don't ever want to get to that point. I've said it before and I said it on the videos. I really love my i3T. Streamlight does have an offering that's similar sized, that it's a few dollars more and like twice or three times the luminosity and possibly the candela. I'm a huge Streamlight fan, but for what it is, and it runs on a AAA battery, I've really loved this. This stays on me all the time. My what is this, i1 R2 EOS, I don't have it on my keychain yet, but I've given one to my wife. Fantastic little light. The place where I showed any trepidation, you know, if this goes down, I'm going to grab my cell phone. All right, I'm going to be aggravated, but that's it. But when it comes to a weapon light, and I've got a trainer whom I trust after watching hours of his YouTube footage, after joining his Facebook group, after watching how vehemently he supports people's right to keep and bear arms, their right to preserve their own right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And he tells me, and I know that he sees from his students tens of thousands of rounds downrange a week. Twice or three times a week, he has a required in his class night shoe. And he tells me that lights don't like to stand up under recoil. Well then, when it's only a $0 to $20 difference between this and a TLR1, I cannot morally and conscientiously not recommend to you guys to go with the TLR1. And the battery life was better. So yeah, if you guys want some interesting read, you can go back and check out the TLR1 versus Olight video and just look at some of the comments that have come up since then. And I reserve the right to be wrong. I'm not going to be right 100% of the time. I've had to issue several retractions. You know, I'm still learning myself. But I'm going to err on the side of telling you to buy what I know to be a better product, even if it turned out to be twice the money. If I'm going to make a recommendation for something on which you might stake your life, I've got to be able to look in the mirror and sleep with myself at night, right? So there you go. If you ever wonder why I get wishy-washy on something or refuse to make a solid recommendation, it's because morally I'm considering the fact that if somehow I catch the news or I'm in somebody else's live stream and I hear that the poor conservative took bad advice from me and bought the farm early because a product I recommended failed him, man, no. No. that'll be the end of tactical review, I think. Okay. Where are we at? The lights are overblown because they've given free lights to every big name on YouTube. And Diesel, I think you're right. Olight, you cannot fault Olight's advertising. I mean, you can fault it, but from their business perspective, you can't fault it. And it seems like maybe they're getting better. But I'm going to keep checking in once again. I'm going to keep checking. I'm going to run my own tests, and I'm going to run them on guns that I'm not counting on for life and liberty. But their pocket stuff has been great, and I will recommend these things without... This isn't the one I'm giving away. I'm sorry, the Desert Tan is not in the giveaway. But, yeah, great light. No hesitation to recommend that. So there'd be two of us sober. Streamline is awesome, but I run a Viridian C5. Alright, I'm going to try to remember that, and I'm going to take a look at that. You did me good, Ninja, on the knife recommendation, so scrapped a video about Olight after they supported that bigger YouTube whose parent got in that motorcycle accident. Still didn't buy one just because they've bought off all the reviewers. Yeah. Yeah, that's... And I started to feel like I made it. Had somebody... I had an Amazon seller reach out to me and ask if I would be willing to do some product reviews. And this person would send them to me for free. And I was up in the air about that in the first place. I really respect these channels who don't accept free to keep stuff. Like I know a lot of the big YouTubers that I watch, they get testing and evaluation guns, but then those have to go back. And eventually I would like to get to that point. First I have to set up an FFL. But I was already a little sketched out because the fact that I'm still going to call a spade even if I get something for free, that aside, you automatically, I think it's human nature to automatically be just a little bit more forgiving with, oh, you know, yeah, but I got it for free. But my viewers aren't going to get it for free. Well, and then it turned out that this fellow wanted me to write reviews, and that's just not something that I have the time to really invest in. And that's actually a violation of Amazon's terms of service, and I'm not going to throw him under the bus for trying to grow his brand, but I'm also not about losing my Amazon account. They're not a gun-friendly company, but I live in the sticks, so I do a lot of shopping through Amazon. Anyway, and I'm not saying that you won't see some of that person's products on the channel, but I will have bought them myself. Anyway, TLR1, 2 PL2 minis, Tacticon, Enforce. They all have their place. We all have our favorites. Poor conservative, you're absolutely right. And you've noticed I've never called Olight crap. I'm not defending myself. I'm just, for somebody who's reading in between the lines and reading it wrong, I've never said that it's crap. I've said that at this point I wouldn't stake my life on it. And so I know that's not what you said. I just want to make sure that, again, anybody who's reading in between the lines and reading it incorrectly, or if Olight gets on this stream, you know, and watches the first hour to find me talking crap about Olight, I'm not. Matter of fact, I just heartily recommended some products. Yeah, Ninja, everybody that's in here, good folks. Missing a few good folks that I'm used to seeing, but Aunt Diesel, I have I don't know if you've looked through or even checked my Insta. I'm running the Enforce APLC. I was railroaded isn't the right word, but when I switched to appendix carry, this has been almost a year ago now. I happened upon Four Brothers Kydex, Four Brothers LLC, and I haven't done that. I do want to shout out Four Brothers. He did sponsor this tray. He sold it to me at cost, and then I went with the Boogaloo dump tray. I commissioned this clear back in January because he was giving $10 of every Boogaloo dump tray to the VCDL. So I specifically requested that he do it for cost plus $10 and got Tactical Review's donation in. But when I first found, and here's another Four Brothers holster. I was looking to get a pistol light. I wanted to switch to appendix carry, and he had a new design that he was looking for a beta tester on. So I did get that holster for the cost of parts, and it was set up for an APLC. So I ended up with an APLC, and the only problem I've had with it is it goes through batteries a little quicker than what I would like. You know, the battery that came with it went dead in the holster with only like 3 or 4 uses for no more than 10 minutes at a time. C'est la vie. Live and you learn, and now every time, you know, when I'm grabbing my firearm and getting ready to actually put the holster in my belt, I do a chamber check and I do a flashlight check. If I was super anal retentive, I would also carry a spare CR2 battery with me. I'm not quite that far. So, all right, we have gone way off of the realm of gun rights here, but that's okay. That's okay. We're hanging out. Be perfectly honest, I felt a little burned out this week. Not that there wasn't a lot of stuff to bring to talk about, but because there was a lot of stuff. I get very emotionally invested in our right to keep and bear. I hope that passion comes across in a reasonable way. And I've just really felt burned out. So being able to hang out and just have a good conversation with you guys has been pretty fantastic. Yeah, TPC, getting rid of Bloomberg was a plus. Crazy Joe is right now the front runner, it looks like. And he's bad news, but half the time I think he's going to forget his own name between standing up and getting to the microphone. And yeah, I'm going to say I saw this in an article today and said that wouldn't surprise me. And what that is, it would almost not surprise me for the Democratic National Convention, now that it's come down to basically Sanders and Biden. Wouldn't surprise me for them to ignore the results of the primary and just name Clinton to be their candidate. I'm pretty sure I read that that's a possibility, and it kind of wouldn't surprise me. That said, though, I did see that they have reopened or resumed or something the criminal investigation about her email mishandling too. So maybe something will finally come of that, or another investigator is going to have an unfortunate accident. Yeah, Randall, good old Mr. Buttigieg, or Buttigieg. I'm going to be honest, I never learned to pronounce his name, and was a mayor like 2, 3, 4 hours north of me, whatever it is. called his wife his sister last night. Yeah, poor conservative, are you talking about Biden calling his wife his sister? Because I've got to tell you, have you guys seen any of the pictures of him kissing his granddaughter? I mean, that makes me uncomfortable. I don't know, maybe I had a messed up family life, but that don't look right to me. And yeah, Randall, I was amazed when Bloomberg announced his intention to have Hillary as his running mate. I was like, you're going to have an accident within the first 90 days of your presidency. But whatever, you do you. Wouldn't surprise me if he has an accident because of the fact that after announcing his intention to have her as his running mate, he then dropped out of the race. But see ya, Ninja. 30 hours of overtime in for new tools. All right, man. Get some sleep. Be safe. Keep the rubber side down, and shoot straight, stay safe, powder dry, all the things I've said, because I mean them all. Okay. Well, let's get back to some gun rights stuff. Have you guys seen stuff being flagged by PolitiFact? I'm going to guess you have, if you're on Facebook at all. I had something that I shared. I don't remember what the source was. It was a quote from Adolf Hitler, turned out to be inaccurate. The underlying principle is correct. Historically, you can look and see it's exactly what happened. But the specific quote was not accurate, and so my Facebook page has been flagged by PolitiFact, and I now have a less than truthful rating. Who would have thought that an anti-gun group would flag a gun page? Anyway, so, but in a very big stroke of irony, let's hang on, let me get you guys the link. That way, if you're playing the home game, you've got what you need. They keep eating up these inaccurate polls showing that up to 95% of Republicans support universal background checks. So, interesting read, and the irony of who fact checks the fact checkers? It's like Snopes. I used to use Snopes all the time. I found out about it, and with all the email stuff that was going around, I referenced that a lot, and and then they jump on and only grudgingly will admit the truths of pro-gun stuff. So, frustration. There's another article where we're talking about, Uncle Joe saying that our AK-47 isn't going to take care of you. We need an F-15 with Hellfire missiles. You guys saw that. As a matter of fact, Iraq veteran 8888, their gun gripe was about that today. And so I'm gonna shock you guys. All right, you ready? Everybody's sitting down, right? If you're walking around with your mobile device watching this stream, I'm gonna give you a moment to sit down. You're gonna need to sit down. I agree with Joe Biden. God, I need a shower now. Okay. I agree with Joe Biden that we should be able to own F-15s with Hellfire missiles. Who's with me? Shall not be infringed. Well regulated. Those things. Matter of fact, if you go back to last 4th of July on my YouTube channel, it's not the first time I've said something like that. If I want an M1 Abrams and I can afford it, I should be able to own it. not demilled. I know I can get a Russian T-72 delivered to my house, but it'll be demilled. I don't want to go through remilling it. Should be allowed to own it. So yes, I want a GAU 8. I do. I'll tell you what. I can be like in the middle of a building, and the A-10s fly over our town when they're out doing their practicing, and just something about the sound of those twin engines. Yeah, they don't ever, like, obviously out over civilian populace. They're not letting loose the chain gun. That'd be great though. I'd like to have one of those empties. That'd make a cooler bottle opener than my 50 cal bottle opener. I mean, I like that. I really like it because it's the Gun Owners of America one. And by the way, if you are a Gun Owners of America member and you haven't checked out their swag store, you really should. I think it was like $10 shipped for that 50 cal bottle opener. I don't even drink, but it was just too cool to pass up. Popped over there to get my personalized membership card last year. I haven't done that yet this year. I'm right there at Battle Creek, a whole A-10 squadron. I'll take 2. I don't know how to fly. I'll learn to fly. I'll learn to fly. Anyway, we were talking about the a Second Amendment Protection Act that had passed somewhere, and this article, one of the gubernatorial candidates in Washington State. There you go. Hopefully that link didn't break. If it did, you might have to put a trailing slash on it. He is putting forth that he would like to establish, if he's elected, a Public Safety and Gun Rights Commission. Now, I always bristle when I hear a public safety whatever from the mouth of a politician, because usually that means more of our rights are getting ready to be stripped away. However, he said, and I quote, "Our 2A rights are constantly under attack, especially following an incident in which a gun is involved between 2 criminals, like what happened recently at McDonald's in Seattle," Freed wrote. "Law-abiding citizens are a part of the solution to increase public safety and defend the vulnerable. My Washington peeps, elect this guy. Now, you guys have been struggling under some seriously draconian laws. It sounds like the fellow's name is Joshua Freed. Sounds like you guys need him in office. Or if this is just paint on a pig, let me know so that I can issue a retraction." But that seems pretty spectacular. I love hearing, sorry, I was going to say I love hearing politicians say things like that. But then that brings to mind things like, the 8-year attack on your Second Amendment rights is coming to a crashing halt. And that was a lie. So, hopefully, obviously he's better than the guy who's in there that you guys are trying to get, recalled. So, something. Hawaii. Do I have any viewers from Hawaii? I haven't seen Hawaii in my analytics. Probably because you guys have so few rights that it just breaks your heart to watch a channel anything close to like mine. Poor conservative, 50 years. The NFA was drafted in 1934, or was ratified, so longer than that. We're going on 100. Anyway, Hawaii. House Bill 2736 mandates that an ammunition buyer provides to an ammunition seller that they own a registered firearm in the caliber they're seeking to purchase each and every time they buy ammunition. A firearm owner would have to show their firearms registration along with another form of government-issued photographic ID in order to complete the purchase. That almost makes California's ammo bill reasonable. And, oh, hold up, that's even... So, what? Hang on. So they're talking about things like if you have a revolver chambered in .357 Magnum, it usually doesn't say .357 mag /38 special. Usually just says .357 Magnum, and we know that it will fire .38 special. This is saying that they would have to, a registered owner of a firearm may be issued a permit to purchase ammunition of a caliber that is not the caliber listed on the registered firearm by demonstrating to the police department in the registering county that the firearm is capable of firing a caliber of ammunition that is not the caliber listed on the registration of the firearm. I don't know what to do with those guys. That's stupid. That's... I keep hearing people say they want to go to Hawaii, and I'm like, I don't want anything to do with Hawaii. But more and more, my wife got so mad at me here a few weeks back. Okay, she's been mad at me a lot. A lot. But specifically because we were looking at potential of going to Boston, Massachusetts for something. And my first thing to do was to start looking into my ability to defend my family. Preferably, okay, maybe I'm a ninny, but preferably without having to worry about tripping a felony, right? And she got mad at me about it. Well, that's just dumb. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Anyway, sorry. Y'all don't need to know about that. Any place that charges $12 for a Big Mac is off my radar. So you don't ever go on like the Ohio Turnpike then either. Yeah, I worked one time when I was doing HVAC. Worked at one of the rest stops on the Ohio Turnpike. They didn't even give us vouchers. There's no place else to eat there. All right, you'd have to drive down 20-30 miles to get to an exit, and of course, with it being off the turnpike, you'd have to pay to get off of the turnpike. And yeah, they didn't even give us food vouchers, even though we were doing work for the rest stop. It was, yeah, and I think that a fast food meal that would have been for something at a regular, at a regular McDonald's was twice the price, just because you're on the turnpike and locked into it. Not good times. Not good times. Guys, I said earlier, if you joined late, that there was a lot of articles that I just didn't have a chance to go through. I counted up the open tabs I had earlier, and it was some 22 stories. So we were averaging 3 fairly major 2A related stories per day in the last week, and I simply did not have time to read through all of these. I do have some links about New York's mental health evaluation bill. That disgusts me. And Oh, and thank you, Armed Ape. Let's see, Armed Ape is Slobsky, right? Kid confused. Thanks, man. Make sure that you get signed up for the giveaway. And welcome to the stream. 3 million miles safe driving. March all the service areas have been done. Rarely eat fast food. Well, poor conservative. That doesn't fit the narrative either. If you don't eat fast food, you can't get fat. Ask the left. And oh, Slobsky, don't apologize for being late. Heck, we were talking about this earlier, that I know that there are other streams going on even. You've got your own channel, so no, I appreciate you stopping in. Again, did not have time to read all the way through this. If you get the Ammo Land newsletter, you may have already seen this, but mental health evaluation for would-be gun owners. That's just, without digging into this, I want to paint a hypothetical. The anti-gunners really love to give their hypotheticals. So let's do a hypothetical. A young woman has left an abusive relationship and feels in danger for her life. So she wants to purchase a firearm. How well do you think she's going to do on a mental health examination at this point? That's just asinine. And of course that's going to get me painted. Somebody is going to see this video and say, well, Tactical Review, he just thinks that we should put guns in the hands of the mentally ill. It's not what I said. But people, when they are at the most fear for their lives, are not going to seem to fare well when you put them under the microscope of a mental health evaluation. I mean, and the New York SAFE Act, which is this mental health thing, and there's the mental health evaluation, and then there's a mental health reporting that's complicit to this. It's disgusting. Yeah, Slobsky, that link that I dropped in there, they're talking about requiring a mental health evaluation, and I didn't read it. Didn't have time to go through it, just did a quick skim read, but it looks like it might even be every time you want to purchase a firearm, you have to go through a new mental health evaluation. Yeah, poor conservative, they'll twist anything to fit their narrative. Look at the number of times, well, and when it just doesn't fit the narrative, it goes away. How many people have seen anything on major media, if you bother with that, or even on their social media feeds? Who's seen anything about the Coors Brewery shooting since the day it happened, since last Wednesday? We've only got a few of us in here, but yeah, there you go. And Slobsky, I'm not sure, it wouldn't surprise me at all if you are responsible for for paying for your own mental health evaluation. But yeah, poor conservative, great minds run in the same gutter. We came up with the same thing. Haven't heard anything about the Milwaukee shooting because it was African American male who used a handgun. We haven't even heard, here's the thing, there was a suppressor involved with this allegedly. I'm surprised that a big deal wasn't made out of that. And the problem is it doesn't matter whether the suppressor was purchased legally or not. It debunks the anti-gunners arguments. Because if it was purchased legally, well, look what you have to go through to get a suppressor. Okay, You have to go through, really, if you can pass a 4473, you should be okay for a Form 4 or an NFA tax stamp, whatever you want to say. But you have to wait for most of a friggin' year. So if that kind of a background check didn't flag that this guy was a problem, well, then that proves that background checks are garbage. If he got it illegally, well, then that just proves that criminals aren't going to follow the law no matter what it is. So it's a lose-lose for the anti-gunners. So we're going to sweep that under the rug. Hey, how about that shooting, was it in December or January? There was a school shooting, involved an Asian male. Used I believe it was a 1911 as a matter of fact. Didn't hear anything else about that because it doesn't fit the narrative. So if it doesn't fit or can't be twisted to fit, it goes away. Are these victims' lives worth less? Obviously they are to the anti-gunners. And Pelosi was quick. I think it was within 35 minutes of the news that there was an active shooter at the Coors Light facility. Within 35 minutes, Nancy Pelosi was already on Twitter using this to push her anti-gun agenda. For crying out loud, at least let the bodies get to the morgue. Give families some time to process some grief before you make it part of your political agenda. And I've got to at myself here a little bit too, because I've responded within that same time frame. But it's, I don't know. No, I'm not going to excuse in myself behavior that I find reprehensible in others. I won't. It's disgusting when I do it too. This goes back to that 24-hour news cycle that we live in, and the sensationalism. Poor conservative. I was working that direction. Yeah. The Michigan CPL holders still have to go through NICS because Michigan failed to submit the required info for CPL holders. Yeah, I saw that yesterday or earlier today, and I didn't even know that was a thing. I made this comment on 2AEDU's video about it, or his first video. I'm not sure if he's done a second one. I've been a CPL, CCW, whatever you want to call it. I've been a carry permit holder in Tennessee and now in Indiana, and actually neither of those states even offered a NICS bypass for CPL holders. I was surprised that was a thing. And in theory, carry permit holder in most states, that should be a better judge anyway, because typically it goes through your state police, but your local sheriff's department is typically involved with that. To me, that's definitely a better system. Excuse me. But NICS is unconstitutional regardless. So yeah, it's a bunch of garbage. And I was reading elsewhere. So let me give you the official story that I've heard, in case you haven't, and then let me editorialize, because this is my channel and I'm going to editorialize when I want. As everybody signs off the video. Officially, the reason for this is because carry permits were being issued to restricted persons. and then, or persons who would have been restricted by a NICS background check, and then due to that, they were purchasing firearms even though they wouldn't have passed a NICS check. Officially, that's what happened. Unofficially, well, and I guess it would still fit with the official story, now that Michigan has decriminalized recreational marijuana, marijuana use, as I recall from the last time I filled out a 4473, is explicitly asked about on a 4473 or the NICS form. And so whether it's been confirmed or not, the assumption is that there are CPO holders who are knowingly using marijuana, and then they don't have to answer yes or no to that question on the 4473. By bypassing it, you know, whatever. If you say, no, I don't use marijuana on the 4473 and you're found to have used it, you've perjured yourself. End of the day, the NICS background check system, the 4473, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives are unconstitutional and need abolished. Hashtag repeal the NFA. Hashtag abolish the ATF. Hashtag I love my dog and I shouldn't have said that on a public forum. I'm sorry, doggy. Poor old fat Libby. Okay. I never inhaled. Have a gun registry here. Would have been here, but Michigan never submitted the paperwork for CPO. Okay. Jefferson County, Alabama, you get your pistol permit from the sheriff. And in Indiana, you file your paperwork. It's weird. You file your paperwork with the state, but then you go to your local sheriff's department to submit fingerprints, I think. I don't remember. I got my carry permit like 5 years ago, and then they keep turning down constitutional carry, but Indiana's made the standard permit free and massively reduced the cost of the lifetime permit. I don't know. Tennessee had to go take a class that would cost you between $75 and $200 depending on where you took it. It included several hours of classroom time and then 50 rounds of proficiency on the range. And then after passing both the written exam and the range proficiency test, then you went to the Department of Motor Vehicles, Bureau of Motor Vehicles, whatever they call it in Tennessee, and you paid $125 for your 4-year permit, and they retook your picture, your permit number matched your driver's license number. It was like statewide. And then it was a $75 renewal every 4 years. And if you missed your renewal date by even a day, you started back at square one. You had to retake the class and everything. It wasn't like, you know, if you let your driver's license lapse, you pay a little bit of a fee. In Indiana, it's $6. I know because my wife's birthday is in February. She forgot that this was her expiration year, and yeah, she drove on an expired license for 2 weeks, didn't get pulled over, paid an extra $6. Bob's your uncle. It's all good. Not like that with a carry permit in Tennessee. I'm going to be honest. Poor conservative, I'm not exactly sure where Brazil is. I do recall seeing that that's one place that you can buy coal and coke, because once upon a time I thought I was going to try to get into blacksmithing. I'd still like to do that, but I found a more time consuming and expensive hobby in YouTubing, a firearms hobby. All right. Below the radar article here, got an article on the Holtz Firearm Owner Licensing and Record of Sale Act. Skim this real quick. High school student who died protecting a friend. Hold up. Yeah, that's garbage. You guys are going to want to read this article and I-70 exit 51. Oh man, that's a few minutes south of me, brother. So the Blair Holt Firearm, no relation by the way, Blair Holt Firearm Owner Licensing and Record of Sale Act basically mandates a record of sale, which is basically a registration. It's kind of more universal background check crap. And it's just kind of very reminiscent of the way that England, Australia, and New Zealand have decided to punish law-abiding citizens because of the actions of criminals. So, yay for that. Tennessee governor is promoting constitutional carry. That's a good thing. Like that. And that's actually old news now. Talking about South Carolina debate lacking facts on gun control. Watching the Democrats try to talk about firearms is just mind-boggling. It's like they don't understand how firearms technology works. But it's like they don't understand the basics of any mechanical system. And probably they don't, because they're all wealthy and wouldn't have to worry about turning a wrench for themselves, making an honest dollar. Yeah, I just said that on public forum too. Yeah, I'm burned out on the stupidity for the week. All right. Yeah, I am closer than you. I am closer than you. However, I drive a Mini Cooper, and so I don't think that I'm going to be getting much lumber in that. So. Well, one more time, I'm just going to plug the merchandise store. Head over to bit.ly/trmerch. And once again, if you've gone for the last hour and a half and didn't get yourself signed up for the 250 sub giveaway, links in the description, links up in the live chat. Even if you're watching on the replay, you can hit that. Make sure to share that with your friends and share the channel, please. And if you're really feeling froggy and you want to help support the channel, you can do that over on Patreon, patreon.com/tacticalreview. Anything you might want to do would be a great help, but absolutely not a requirement. Appreciate my Patreon supporters, though. You guys have been a big help to the channel. Definitely, I think everybody who's still in here is following me over on Facebook and Instagram. But if you're not, right there's where to do that, and you'll get a lot more behind the scenes stuff. Actually, after my 5 minutes to war video, I have been kind of posting what I'm doing for physical fitness on the daily. One of my commenters made the very astute observation that all the Gucci gear in the world doesn't matter if you don't have some level of physical fitness, if it were to come down to a combat situation. So, not trying to shame anybody, but just something I've been sharing over there. Oh, I feel like there's something I'm forgetting. I know there's something I'm forgetting. What about you guys? What's going on in your world? So wait, what link are you missing, poor conservative? Here, I'll just, if you're missing the one I think that you're missing, I made it really easy. I've been using Bitly because I'm a cheapskate and haven't bought a domain yet. So it's bit.ly/TR250GAW. Get you signed up for that giveaway. And IG banned from Facebook. Up sugar this week and starting to cut carbs. Awesome, man. That's a hard one. I went the other route. I add more activity and still eat all the crap because I'm a junk foodaholic, which is also why I probably don't have the physique I should for the amount of work that I do put in, is because, well, garbage in and garbage out. What you eat is super critical, and I know that, and I'm just not doing what I know I should do. So I have athletes all the time saying, Coach, I want a six-pack. How do I get a six-pack? And the first thing I do is I look down and I say, what makes you think that I know how to get a six-pack? But no, I do. The thing is, though, is that good abs are made in the kitchen, not in the weight room. And I've had a lot of athletes hang their head and walk away because that takes a lot of discipline. So yeah, good for you. That's going to be a hard one, and sugar is absolutely a physical addiction. So good luck with that. It's not going to be easy for sure. Brownies, I'm the reason you joined Instagram. Oh man. Okay, well, let me tell you, if you haven't found these on your own, you are going to want to follow Arsenal616. You're going to want to follow 9mm SMG. There's another meme page. But those guys have some spicy Boogaloo memes. I like them. Maybe you don't like Boogaloo memes. I can't imagine that you follow my channel, though, and you wouldn't get a laugh out of Boogaloo memes. Poor Conservatives on Instagram. He is the 40 Collective, if I remember correctly. Yeah, actually, I think you can go. Yeah, you can go through my profile and check out my follows, and the vast majority of them are YouTubers and gun guys, community members that I have kind of had some sort of contact with, and heartily recommend my follows. There's a couple of like local interest follows, and then Dak, I think it's 98, 94. I forget the numbers there. He's the one who made my my channel intro that I roll, and gave him a follow, and recommend you give him a follow. And he's still not really posting a lot of his portfolio, but good guy. There we go. 40 Collective and Dominion HJC. And definitely, guys, anybody who's still in here, I know we're winding down. Yeah, YouTube has things about follows for follows, but if you have a YouTube channel, if you have an Instagram, never hesitate to drop that in the chat. I guess when I get big enough that we've got hundreds of people in here, that might make for some extra noise, and we may have to trim that then. But for right now, we're a small group of like-minded individuals, guys and gals. So absolutely, I know Vanessa hasn't said anything recently, so I don't know if she's bounced or not. But Vanessa Kitty has a YouTube channel. I haven't seen anything from Zeke recently, but Zeke is a YouTube creator. I follow him on Insta as well. Ninja. Aunt Diesel, well, I mean, yeah, we talked about that earlier. I've got to get caught up on Aunt Diesel's. So, anyway, 2011, I was 310 pounds, got 6 bypasses, now 6'2", 250. Congratulations. Congratulations, Randall. That's incredible. So, my trajectory, and I've got terrible genetics, so thanks, Dad, if you're watching. He's watched on occasion. Now my dad's lost a lot of weight due to some health concerns, but he was in the process of losing weight before his stomach decided to revolt against him. I'm real proud of him. I am right around 5'11". Don't have a lot of other people in my videos, so that might not be super obvious. And at my heaviest, I had gotten up to 235 pounds at an estimated 44% body fat. And I was a little unhappy. There has been a roller coaster throughout all this. I got down really low. I did it very unhealthily, starvation. I didn't understand the science behind it. Fortunately, my ignorance did not result in injury. Put on some muscle mass, moved states. Financially, things went sideways. Got a better job, but had gotten used to being lazy. Got back up to about 30-something% body fat at around 225 pounds. And since then, there's been variable, things vary. We're talking about a 5-year journey here, but it ends, right now I'm in the lower to mid 180s. Last time I weighed in, I was at 183 or 184. And something around 14 to 16% body fat. I can't be a lot more specific than that because I use one of the electrolysis scales, and it's just an estimate, and hydration factors into that. All of your electrolysis scales now will give you a hydration number, though, to help you ascertain that. So I'm going to tell Poor Conservative, I'm going to tell you that I wouldn't necessarily only live by the scale. And also, this tends to be a factor for ladies more than guys, but it can be a factor for anybody. Don't be afraid of the scale. I know a lot of people, especially when they start out, they're unhappy with their physique, and so they don't want to get on the scale. But the problem is, what that can lead to, excuse me, I'm starting to lose my voice, is somebody works hard for however long, they're feeling pretty good about themselves, their clothes are fitting better, and then they get on the scale, because now they're not afraid of what the scale is going to say. And then they're not happy with what the scale does say. And what they may not realize is that they've come a very long way, but they don't have their starting point. So with any journey, before you start, you need to know where you are, and you need to know where you want to go. So that's important. Don't only use the scale. Either get a body fat estimating scale and take that into consideration as well, or get a 97-cent Taylor's tape measure and Google where should I measure for weight loss or something like that, and it'll tell you. There's 3 or 4 or 5 places, and ladies have a couple more measurements to take than guys, but kind of keep an eye on that. In general, how you feel and how your clothes fit are going to be some of your most important metrics, and you know that. But a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step, and I'm super proud of anybody who takes that step. So something I could talk for a long time about. I'm super passionate about it. But I feel like that kid with the donut next to the pool, you know, the meme, fitness is my passion, because I've had a few people tell me that I am a success story, but I still look at where I want to see improvement, and so that changes how I feel about things. So let's see, need ideas for content. I need ideas for content. I'm making this crap up as I go. Still stand to lose about 25 more. Yeah, like me, like the junk food. Randall, and all I can say for that is, if it will help you, you've got to keep a log of some sort. I use MyFitnessPal. If you would like to shoot me an email to my channel email and let me know that if you use MyFitnessPal and you want to connect on there, I'm not going to just drop that publicly, but I'd be happy to do that if that's something that would help you. I'm a numbers geek, always have been, and even though I hate math, but I'm super geek. I like some of the details and the minutia when I get into something. So logging has helped me. For some people, it just becomes an obsessive thing. So, and then, excuse me. Once again, I increase my activity so that I offset those calories. Today, like I said, I went on. It was midweek. I am in season with my track and field athletes and distance running coach, and I do my level best to work out with them. Wednesdays are our midweek recovery run after our hardest workouts, aside from competition, is typically Tuesday, and that recovery run is a long, slow pace, just to kind of flush lactic acid. Science. Anyway, so I did 5 miles today, and I did half hour or so of weight training in the morning. And I do that just because I like junk food. So probably not the healthiest thing. That means I'm working out to empower an eating disorder. I don't know, but whatever. Don't do face cam. Sorry guys, I'm going back through the chat here real quick. Into Instagram, said some, yeah. Not big into weighing. Just want to get away from sugar and cut weight for the DC rally in October. Awesome. Round is a shape. Yeah. Well, and you know, you can always tell when somebody's on the level if the bubble's in the middle, right? That's what I was just a joke. But Slobsky, I did bring up the that the Supreme Court had denied hearing the bump stock case. I didn't see the remarks on it. I had mentioned that I was surprised that Tim from Military Arms hadn't done any kind of video, but he said in one of his live streams once that he can only say very, very little because he is one of the named parties in that suit. So I'm surprised that he didn't post anything at all on his social media, but I know he's super limited too. So, diabetic, have heart disease, so I have to be watching what I eat anyway. I splurge a lot. Yeah, Randall, my mom was diabetic, and just be smart with it. She used to do crap. We lost my biological mom back in 2009, and it's hard to believe it's been that long. And she used to do things like she would double dose on her insulin because she was going to a church carry-in and she knew there'd be a lot of good desserts. So that's not being smart with it. She ended up short half a leg and several toes on the other foot, and there's a lot of people who do everything that they can to do it the right way and still end up in that situation. But so yeah, just for sure take care of yourself. I mean, you've already mentioned you've put in a lot of hard work. Just be careful with it. Here, Slobsky, agency used to tell everyone the bump stocks don't qualify as machine guns. Now it says the opposite. The law hasn't changed, only an agency's interpretation of it. And that's exactly why the ATF is unconstitutional. They are not the legislative branch of the government. They have no right to be making laws. And there's no way, logically speaking, okay, I have a pair of scissors here with a cleaning patch stuck to them, but that's like me saying that this little sheath for this cheap pair of scissors is a machine gun. Or it converts this to fully automatic scissors. It's asinine. It's a piece of plastic, for crying out loud. Jerry Michalek needs to be a registered machine gun. Garand Thumb. Both of his index fingers need to be registered machine guns. He needs to have them serialized, tattooed on there. Except that would make it a new production machine gun, so that's not legal. He's going to have his fingers amputated. Dude shoots too fast. It's asinine. Hashed out. Oh, once I hashed out in the lower courts first. Okay, and that's what I hadn't gathered yet is how it was, what that meant for the case. Obviously, Gun Owners and Firearms Policy Code, Gun Owners of America, Firearms Policy Coalition, they're not going to let it drop. But there was just kind of a strange, resounding silence on what that meant being translated for us regular guys. And again, I never wanted a bump stock. The only reason I want a bump stock now is because somebody told me I couldn't have it, legitimately. I've tried to do the belt loop trick. I've never been able to get that exactly right, but to call it a machine gun is asinine. And then we won't even go into the fact that the audio signatures from the shooting in Vegas don't match the audio signature of an AR-15 with a bump stock. We're just stop right there. Yes, yeah, he is very accurate when he's estimating trigger pull. Fantastic. I really enjoy Grand Thumb videos. I've made stupid comments and got called out by Flannel Daddy himself, and I bear the scars and the shame. I try to do better. I'm trying to be better every day. Jerry is a machine gun. No, Jerry is a machine gun. I've watched him go head to head with I think it was with a bump stock. Eric, an Iraq veteran, 8888, replayed part of a clip where he went head to head with Jerry Michalek. Jerry had his competition AR-15. Eric had an AR with a bump stock on it, and the bump stock finished the firing sequence 1 round faster than Jerry Michalek with worse accuracy. It's incredible. That man is incredible. AR-10 with a bump stock a few months ago in pawn shop. Can't regulate ownership. Blew my mind. Well, that's the thing. Unless somebody reports you, or unless you happen to be someplace, it's not like it was ever a registered item. That would be like them determining that certain flashlights are tactical only flashlights, and so they have to be registered, destroyed, or surrendered. How are they going to prove who has these flashlights? Because there was no kind of transfer process. It came straight to my house. Upper receivers. Actually, and that's a conversation that I'm afraid that we're going to end up having, because it's been pointed out very publicly that an AR-15 lower receiver doesn't meet the definition, the legal definition of a firearm. The upper receiver also does not. So what I'm personally afraid of is that they're going to end up requiring that the upper receiver be serialized and have to go through an FFL as well. But at this point, they're not. So if they make some sort of law concerning AR-15 upper receivers, and well, how are they going to prove? Because all I have to say, if I have a willingness to lie about it, is, well, no, I shot that barrel out, and uppers are so cheap, instead of replacing the barrel, I just threw it away. How are they going to prove it? It's so asinine, guys. I know you know this. I get so frustrated about this because it's unenforceable. What did I read? We have like 50,000 gun laws on the books. And the anti-gunner's answer to everything is more gun laws. We can't enforce, we as society, we law enforcement, that's not me, I'm not law enforcement. They can't enforce what's on the books already. So how are they going to enforce another 50 or 100 laws? 400 million firearms in the hands of regular citizens. Something like 100 million gun owners. How does anybody think that any of this crap is going to be realistically enforced? If I grab a wire coat hanger and twist up a bottle opener and take it out to the range, how does anybody know? Especially if I get to the range and I'm by myself, how does anybody know? Especially because I'm a member at a range that allows machine guns to be used on the range anyway. Yeah, that would be spendy. Yeah, even if you were shooting steel cased 7.62. Be crazy to put that on here. Yeah. All right, Randall's getting ready to get off here, and it's rolling up. It's basically 11 o'clock right now, so 5:30 is going to come awful early. I've been on now for right at 2 hours, so I am also going to bid you fine folks adieu. Before we do that, I am going to plug the merchandise store one more time. Honestly, I'm super thrilled with how the colorized version of the American Pride shirt came out. Thank you one more time to the Poor Conservative for that eagle design. I want to thank Elias, who is not in the chat tonight, taking a mental health break, and you got to keep yourself sane. So that's why we haven't heard from Elias in a while, but he did help me out with the description copy on actually both of those shirts that I just had up on screen. So thank you so much to Elias. Thank you, Poor Conservative. Thank you everybody who's here, who has subscribed. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and click that button. If you didn't sign up for the 250 subscriber giveaway, go ahead and get that done. We've got until 11:59 p.m. Eastern on the 17th. One more time, for those of you who weren't here in the beginning, I'm using an automated system to close that form so that I don't have to be up at midnight on a Tuesday. If it closes early, as soon as you can, email me with your information and I will verify that you registered on time by the timestamp on your email, and we will get you on the list so that you have equal access to the drawing. Couple of keychain flashlights, we have a pocket flashlight, and the Four Brothers Boogaloo dump tray. So looking forward to giving all of this away 2 weeks from tonight on the live stream. So thanks so much for joining me tonight. Until next time, shoot straight, stay safe.